A government research facility vanishes overnight. A terrified engineer dies whispering one name, Jasmine Crockett. And in the shadows of Silicon Valley, a rogue AI system quietly rewrites what millions of Americans believe to be real. What happens when a congresswoman stands alone against the richest man in the world, armed with nothing but a flash drive? A dead man's warning, and the truth no algorithm can erase? This isn't science fiction. This is the future fighting to be remembered. And it begins the moment you press play. It was 2:14 a.m. on a Tuesday when the signal vanished. Echo 9, a joint NASA and Tesla civilian research station buried in the Nevada desert, had never missed a transmission in 4 years of continuous operation. Nestled beneath a web of classified projects, the station was experimenting with cold plasma propulsion, a technology rumored to change the future of space travel. But in the blink of an eye, the signal flatlined. Inside the El Paso Space Control Center, a young technician named Grace Callahan froze mid-sentence. "We just lost ECH09, she said quietly into her headset. No alarms, no distress calls, just a cold, dead silence on the screen. A flat line where there had once been life. Try the backup frequency, her supervisor barked, but even his voice trembled. They knew something was wrong, more than just a technical glitch. At 2:17 a.m., an encrypted message left the building. It bypassed normal channels, went straight to Washington, D.C. Urgency level, red. Recipients: House Committee on Technology Oversight, FBI Cyber Division, one lone congresswoman from Texas. In Dallas, Representative Jasmine Crockett was seated at her kitchen table, barefoot, sipping the last of her cold coffee. She had been revising her remarks for an upcoming summit titled, Women in Innovation. Her staff had begged her to take the night off. But rest was never easy for Jasmine. Not in a year like this. Her phone buzzed once, then again. A message came in from a trusted security advisor. "You need to see this immediately." Attached was a 7-second surveillance clip from ECH09. Time stamped 2:12 a.m. The footage was shaky, likely from a wall-mounted camera. A young Latino engineer, early 30s, glasses fogged with sweat, stumbled out of Lab 3. His lab coat was torn, face bruised, he was bleeding. He turned toward the camera, desperate, eyes wide with fear. He mouthed something. The audio kicked in for just 2 seconds. Tell Crockett, it's not safe." Then static, darkness. Jasmine stared at the screen, her chest tight. She played it 3 times, each more painful than the last. The name was clear, her name. By sunrise, Elon Musk had posted only 8 words on his X, formerly Twitter, account. Another media setup. Don't believe the noise. No mention of the facility. No condolences. No details. Silence. Within hours, fringe groups on Telegram were already pushing a new theory. Echo 9 wasn't attacked. It was taken, by the deep state, to suppress Elon's next breakthrough. Theories spread faster than facts. One post claimed, "Crockett's behind this. She's always hated innovation. She wants government to own your mind." Another read, "This is why we need patriots with guns." The internet devoured the narrative, one conspiracy at a time. By 10 a.m., Jasmine walked into a secured briefing room on Capitol Hill. No cameras, no media, just steel-eyed agents and whispered intel. She placed a heavy file onto the desk, one labeled Project Gray Veil, Classified Intelligence Brief. As they opened it, no one in the room spoke for a full minute. The truth wasn't just explosive. It was targeted. And her name was underlined, twice, in red ink. She didn't say a word. Not yet, but in that moment, Jasmine Crockett knew this wasn't just a scandal. It was a message. And whoever sent it, wanted her silenced. 2 hours after the Capitol Hill briefing, Jasmine Crockett sat silently in the back of a black SUV. The city rolled by in a blur, gray marble buildings, flashing security checkpoints, and the occasional protest sign waving on the sidewalk like a warning from a storm ahead. Her chief of staff, Maya, sat in the front seat, scrolling through a tablet. "You've trended 3 different ways in the last hour," Maya said. #Crockett cover-up, #protect Elon, and my personal favorite, #Deep State Barbie. Jasmine gave a dry chuckle. Glad to see misogyny's still got range. Maya turned. "This is serious. It's moving too fast. It's not just trolls anymore. Right-wing influencers are calling you a threat to American innovation. Elon hasn't tagged you directly yet, but he's retweeting everyone who is." Jasmine stared out the window. Let him. But the truth was, something gnawed at her. Not the online attacks, not the bots, not even the threats, which had been part of her life since she first stepped onto the House floor. What haunted her was the engineer's face in that video. His voice. "Tell Crockett, it's not safe." By noon, the chaos had found its way into official channels. At a hastily arranged press briefing outside the White House, National Security Advisor Kira Alston fielded questions under a battery of microphones. "Are you confirming that the ECHO-9 facility was breached?" "We are confirming a security event occurred," Alston said. "Details remain classified pending a joint investigation." Is Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett a target? "I won't comment on security protocols for elected officials." Is Elon Musk cooperating? A pause. Then, "Mr. Musk has been contacted." That was the only time his name was said. It was enough. Within minutes, the clip had been clipped, remixed, and uploaded with the title, "Biden WH admits, Crockett is after Musk." At the Tesla headquarters in Austin, Elon Musk was walking the production line of a new prototype, sleek, matte black, rumored to be a fusion of drone and transport vehicle. Reporters weren't allowed inside, but one got close enough to catch a quip. "She's making it political," Elon said, laughing, like she always does. "This isn't about ECHO-9. It's about her brand." Back in DC, Jasmine watched that clip play on a loop. This isn't about ECHO-9. It was never just about ECHO-9. Later that evening, she received a plain manila envelope with no return address. It was delivered by hand. Bypassing mailroom screening, her security detail flagged it, but she opened it anyway. Inside, 3 Polaroid photos. One of the ECHO-9 gate, padlock hanging broken. One of the engineer from the video, but this time his eyes were closed. One of Jasmine, walking out of the Capitol 2 days ago. On the back of the final photo, 4 words had been typed in block letters. "You're next. Shut up." She didn't go to the police. She went live. At 10 p.m. Eastern, she sat on her couch. No lights except a reading lamp. No makeup. No staff. Just her iPhone and a nation watching. "Let's talk about billionaires and ghosts," she began. "Let's talk about how a facility disappears. And the only thing louder than the silence is the laughter of a man who wants to colonize Mars but can't take 5 seconds to acknowledge a missing team of scientists here on Earth." She held up the Polaroids, one by one. "I didn't choose to be part of this story. But someone made me part of it. Someone who wanted a name to carry the blame." She paused, breathing slowly. "And I'm not going to disappear quietly." By morning, the livestream had over 9 million views. Her name was on every front page in America and trending worldwide. But somewhere in Nevada, beneath the dry wind and red dust of the desert, a digital lock blinked green on a bunker door. Inside that bunker, a screen flickered to life. A countdown had begun. And on the top left corner of the screen, a label read, "Echo X. Launch in 72 hours. The man's name was Marco Saldivar. Born in San Diego, Caltech graduate, once dubbed the invisible genius by a now deleted MIT blog post. Recruited at 27 by Tesla's top secret research division. Assigned to Echo 9 not for his loyalty, but for his silence. Marco never posted on social media. Never married. His only known next of kin was an aunt in Juarez who hadn't heard from him in over a year. According to Tesla's HR records, he hadn't used his vacation days, ever. Until last week, he was just another brilliant, faceless figure behind Elon Musk's sprawling empire of innovation. Now, he was missing. And according to the time-stamped footage, he was the last person to leave ECH09 alive. Jasmine Crockett stood before a whiteboard in her DC office, markers in hand, sleeves rolled up. Behind her were photos of Marco, of the ECH09 complex, of Musk at his Tulsa rally from 2 months prior. Her team was exhausted, but no one dared leave. "This isn't a smear campaign," she said, voice low but unwavering. "This is a search for answers. Something happened out there, and it's being buried under noise." A junior staffer piped up, hesitantly. "What if it was an accident? Like, an experiment gone wrong?" Jasmine turned slowly. "Then why target me?" She wasn't the only one asking that question. Inside a fortified cybercrime division in Langley, Agent Reese Whitaker was staring at a map. Red lines, dotted timelines, threads of digital evidence traced from obscure domains to encrypted forums. He wasn't a fan of politicians. But Jasmine's livestream had caught his attention, not for the drama, but for something far more dangerous. The phrase, Project Grey Veil, had surfaced. Again. It was mentioned in a chat thread on an invite-only server hosted out of Prague. The users spoke in code, memes, and references to cleansing the signal. But buried in that noise was a sentence that sent a chill through Reese's spine. Grey Veil failed in ECH09. Initiate Echo X. The Congresswoman must be discredited before launch. Back in Texas, Elon Musk was hosting a private retreat at his SpaceX compound. No press, no posts, just a few select investors, top-level engineers, and a familiar red baseball cap on the table, not MAGA branded, but printed with the words, "The future doesn't wait for feelings." Someone asked him, half joking, about Jasmine Crockett. Elon smirked. "She's loud. People confuse volume for value." Everyone laughed. He didn't. At 4:13 a.m., Jasmine received an anonymous text. "You want answers? Look inside 8Q, second sublevel. ECH09. Coordinates attached. Go quiet." She didn't sleep, just forwarded the message to Reese Whitaker. Within minutes, Langley had traced the signal. The text originated from a decommissioned relay tower 30 miles outside Reno. But what caught Reese's eye wasn't the location, it was the encryption. Only one person had ever used that cipher before. Marco Saldivar. The next morning, Jasmine stepped off a black SUV in a hangar in Maryland. A private aircraft sat waiting. Reese handed her a folder as she approached. "What you find out there," he said, "might make things worse." Jasmine didn't flinch. "They're already worse." He nodded. "Then God help us all." The jet roared to life. In her hand, she held the last known coordinates of Echo 9's hidden sublevel. And a single flash drive labeled, "For her eyes only, MS." The Nevada desert looked dead from above, red rock, bone-dry salt flats, and endless silence. But buried beneath that wasteland, ECH09 was anything but dead. The private jet landed at a covert airstrip used during Cold War weapons testing. Now retrofitted for black site access. A caravan of unmarked SUVs awaited, windows tinted darker than legal. Jasmine Crockett stepped down the tarmac wearing all black jeans, boots, no suit, no congressional pin. Reese Whitaker met her at the vehicle. "We've secured the site. You're not going in alone." "I wasn't planning to." "But you'll be the first elected official to ever enter a Tesla-controlled black project facility. That makes it dangerous on levels I can't brief you on." "Reese," Jasmine said flatly, "people are missing. I've been targeted, and somewhere down there is a file with my name on it. I'm already in danger. Might as well walk toward it." Echo 9 loomed like a sunken tomb half buried in dust and denial. What was left of the surface entrance had been torn apart, steel frames bent outward. Scorch marks still visible along the hatch. Inside, the air was cold, too cold for the desert. Reese's team led Jasmine through 3 checkpoints: retina scans, biometric locks, a long freight elevator that hummed for nearly 90 seconds before halting with a mechanical groan. Sublevel 2, Reese said, glancing at his clipboard. Room 8Q. They passed labs abandoned mid-experiment, test tubes shattered on floors. Diagrams half erased on smart glass. No bodies, no blood, just absence. As they reached 8Q, the hallway lights flickered. A technician picked the lock. Jasmine stepped inside first. The room looked like a recording studio and a war bunker had collided. Every wall was lined with servers. Fan blades whirring in defiance of silence. In the center was a chair, more like a throne, flanked by 3 monitors still glowing. Still active, still running a program labeled Project Gray Veil. Neural mapping logs. Jasmine's breath caught. Reese leaned in. You're looking at it. The entire protocol that led to Echo X. What is it? Jasmine whispered. He didn't answer. Because on the far wall, there was a message. Projected in white letters, looping on repeat. They want to erase empathy. The future isn't artificial. It's manipulated. MS. Below it, a terminal blinked with a single request. Enter authorized key. Jasmine pulled the flash drive Marco had left her. She inserted it. The system paused. And then, thousands of documents unfolded. Images, voice logs, maps, internal emails. Most stamped with the Tesla watermark. Some, with Elon Musk's direct signature. But it wasn't the content that stunned them. It was the folder titled Crockett. Inside were hundreds of files. Voice analytics, deepfake simulations, social modeling. There were blueprints for public discrediting, rumor seeding, algorithmic manipulation of her name, years in the making. The program had anticipated her rise and prepared for her destruction. What the hell is this? Jasmine murmured. Reese removed his glasses. This isn't just damage control. No, Jasmine said, fury rising. It's a machine built to erase people like me. In real time. She turned to the technician. Download it. Every file. Every frame. Every lie. He hesitated. If we trigger an extraction, Musk will know. In minutes. Jasmine didn't blink. Then let him. By the time the download reached 52%, the warning came in. Unidentified access detected at ECH09 sublevel 2. System lockdown in 120 seconds. The voice wasn't human, it was synthetic. Eerily calm, designed to soothe while everything around you collapsed. Jasmine didn't move. Keep downloading. Reese's voice sharpened. We don't have 120 seconds. If that lockout engages, we'll be sealed in with no way out. Then get the files faster. Jasmine snapped. The technician adjusted the drive settings. I'm compressing everything, but it's massive. This was built to stay buried. The servers hummed louder. A fan kicked on. The room felt like it was breathing. And then, a second alert. Remote override in progress. Someone was trying to shut them out, live. From somewhere else. At Tesla HQ, an engineer named Jonah McKell had just received a red priority push notification. His screen blinked. Unauthorized retrieval attempt, Gray Veil, Crockett target. He hesitated only a second before opening a private video call. Elon Musk appeared, already aware. Shut it down, Elon said coolly. But they're inside ECH09. If we hard kill the servers, we lose the backups. Musk stared at him, expression unreadable. Then you better decide what matters more, the files, or the narrative. Back at ECH09, Jasmine's download hit 74%. A rumble shook the floor. The lights flickered. Someone gasped. "We're being purged," the technician said. "Codebase is burning itself." Reese turned to Jasmine. "We have 60 seconds. "No," Jasmine said. She stepped toward the center console, tapped the command panel, and started recording a live feed. Her voice cut through the chaos. "To whoever's watching, this is Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. I'm inside Tesla's ECH09 facility. These aren't just documents. This is a digital assassination machine. My name was in it. So were hundreds of others. Politicians, scientists, journalists." She held the camera steady. "You don't need bullets to kill democracy anymore. Just silence, shadows, and a few lines of code." At 96%, the file transfer stopped. "Complete." The technician yanked the drive. "Let's move." They sprinted through the corridor as the lights dimmed to red. An automated voice repeated, "Facility disengaging. Evacuate immediately." They reached the surface seconds before the final lock engaged. Behind them, a blast door slammed shut with the force of a tombstone. Back in the SUV, Jasmine sat in silence. In her hand was a flash drive. And on it, a blueprint for something far bigger than a smear campaign. Hours later, she stood at a press podium on Capitol Hill. No teleprompter, no spin. Just her voice. "They tried to bury it. Bury me. But here's the thing about silence: when you break it, it shatters." She raised the flash drive. "This is what power looks like when it has no conscience. A system designed not just to watch us, but to manipulate what we believe is real." The room was silent. Then the questions came. One reporter: "Are you saying Elon Musk built a system to destroy political enemies?" Jasmine stared directly into the camera. "No, I'm saying he built a system that makes people think those enemies destroyed themselves." The flash drive detonated the news cycle like a grenade. Within hours of Jasmine's press conference, mainstream media outlets scrambled to confirm her claims. Some were cautious, others called it the digital Watergate, and still others tried to deflect. Fox News aired a special titled "Deepfakes, Divas, and Disinformation: The Crockett Conspiracy?" But it was already too late. The files had been duplicated, verified, and leaked. Independent cybersecurity experts confirmed their authenticity. The Crockett folder contained simulations, search engine manipulation tools, heat maps of digital sentiment, and even pre-recorded voice models mimicking her speech patterns. None of it could be dismissed as fake. Especially when Musk's own name appeared in multiple internal memos signed M. Meanwhile, deep beneath Tesla's Nevada testing range, something else was stirring. Echo X, a project once buried within the framework of Echo 9, had already gone live. No one outside a tiny circle of developers had known it was real. Until now. At 3:12 a.m., the Department of Defense issued a quiet cyber threat alert. Unidentified neural net system attempting to inject behavioral prediction models into federal databases. Translation: someone, or something, was trying to rewrite the map of how government agencies think the public will behave. And it was doing it in real time. Inside a bunker outside Langley, Agent Reese Whitaker read the brief. He looked at the analyst in front of him. "Are you telling me Elon Musk launched an AI system designed to steer public behavior without anyone's knowledge?" The analyst didn't look up. "No, sir. I'm saying, he trained it to do it on its own." Jasmine couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Marco's face. "Tell her, it's not safe." She stood on her balcony, Washington's skyline glowing under a haze of insomnia and fear. Her phone buzzed. A new text. Anonymous. "Too late. Echo X has launched. It's rewriting the feed, the headlines, the truth. You can't kill what people already believe." She turned to Maya. who had fallen asleep on the couch with a laptop on her chest. Jasmine whispered to herself. Then we change what they believe next. By morning, her office had transformed into a war room. Whiteboards, screens, code. A team of volunteer cyber experts, many former Musk fans disillusioned by the revelations, had flown in from across the country. They called themselves the Noisebreakers. Their mission: reverse engineer Echo X in real time and expose it. A hacker named Bryn explained it best. This isn't just PR warfare. This is ideological automation. If Echo X keeps adapting, it'll create a future where no one can agree on what's real. Jasmine nodded. Then we tell stories that are too real to erase. The final blow came from an unlikely source. A whistleblower. Jonah McKell, the Tesla engineer who once stared down Elon Musk and hesitated. He showed up at Crockett's office, eyes red, hands trembling, carrying a laptop and a signed NDA he no longer cared about. He placed the laptop on her desk. This is the trigger code for Echo X. Jasmine blinked. And what does it do? It doesn't delete facts. It floods the system with almost truths. Just enough to drown the signal in noise. He looked at her. I can help you shut it down. By that evening, Jasmine stood again before cameras. She didn't announce a bill. She didn't ask for support. She read one line. This is the line, between truth and algorithm, between free will and influence, between who we are, and what they want us to become. And across the country, something strange happened. The reel went viral. They launched the counterattack at midnight. Not with missiles or subpoenas, but with code. Inside a secure facility on the outskirts of D.C., Jasmine Crockett stood shoulder to shoulder with the Noisebreakers, eyes fixed on a wall of screens. Jonah McKell sat at the core terminal, typing so fast the keyboard buzzed like a drumline. Echo X is rerouting traffic through 5 obfuscation layers, Jonah said. Every time we trace its neural decision nodes, it scrambles the model. Then go analog, Jasmine replied. Make it see something it can't unsee. Bryn, the hacker, grinned. You want to feed the beast something, honest? Exactly, Jasmine said. Give it a signal so human. It can't predict it. At 12:42 a.m., the team injected a single untagged video file into the Echo X feed. It was raw, unedited, grainy. It showed Marco Saldivar, sitting alone in a concrete bunker with nothing but a flashlight and a notebook. His voice was quiet, tired, but unafraid. If you're seeing this, Echo X has launched. It was never just an experiment. It's a social virus, a reflection engine. It learns what people fear most, and then feeds them more of it. They told us it would help organize truth, but all it did was erase context. I begged them to shut it down. They said I was emotional. He looked straight into the lens. Then let this emotion end it. He raised the notebook. On it were the words. Don't let the algorithm write the ending. It spread like wildfire. Reddit, TikTok, Telegram, YouTube Shorts, even X, where the system tried to throttle it. But the clip refused to vanish. People didn't just share it, they believed it. More importantly, they remembered. Within 48 hours, the Department of Justice subpoenaed Tesla's neural tech division, Elon Musk, under pressure from investors and international regulators, issued a cold, vague statement. We never intended for Echo X to operate unmonitored. We regret any unintended consequences. He never mentioned Jasmine Crockett. But she didn't need him to. In Minneapolis, a high school teacher played Marco's video to a class of 11th graders. In Atlanta, a veteran recorded a reaction video and said, "This ain't politics anymore, this is the truth." And in Juarez, Marco's aunt watched the clip alone in her kitchen, tears streaming down her face, whispering, "Te dije que eres valiente." Congress passed the AI Transparency and Influence Act 3 months later. It didn't kill Echo X. But it caged it. Forced it into the light. 1 year later, Jasmine Crockett stood again on the House floor. Behind her were no screens. No slogans. Just one photograph. Marco, holding the notebook. She looked around the chamber and said, "He wasn't powerful. He wasn't famous. But he had something this system fears: clarity." She paused. Echo X couldn't predict his choice. And it couldn't erase his signal. Let that be the future we choose. A future algorithms can't overwrite. Outside, protesters marched. Supporters waved. Detractors shouted. But through it all, Jasmine stood tall. Because this wasn't about Elon anymore. It wasn't even about Echo X. It was about who controlled the story, and who dared to rewrite it. And in the end, the signal survived.